God, and that He keeps. And so I just wanted to tell you real quick, basically, that God is faithful, and that's what that means by Him keeping His promises to us. He's a faithful God. So God is faithful. So the Bible verses I'm coming from today is 2 Timothy 2:13, Psalms 36:5, Lamentations 3:22-23, Hebrews 20:23. Okay, so I'm sorry. 2 Timothy 2:13 says, God is not human that He should change His mind. If we are unfaithful, He remains faithful, for He cannot deny Himself. So let me explain that. Um, what we have to do as followers of God, the first tool that we have is His Word. God's Word is the Bible, okay? The whole Bible. So I know some accounts in the Bible are people's accounts of their experiences with God. And it's just information of what happened, but it's all biblical, okay? So the Bible is our source and our resource, our source of information about God. And that's what we go to. So just know that that is a tool, and that is the tool for Christians and Christianity is the Bible. So basically, from His Word, it tells you that He doesn't change. He doesn't lie. He cannot lie. And so this Bible verse is basically referring to just God Himself, that it says He's not human. And what that means is human beings lie. Human beings are not faithful, right? How many times have your friends said, I'm coming over there, and they don't show? You put trust in man, but man is not faithful. Man always let you down. Like, think about a relationship when you're dating a guy or you're dating a girl, and they may show up, they may not, they may tell you a lie, they may keep their promise, they may be faithful, they may not be faithful. Even in a relationship, it's issues and questions about faithfulness. It's usually like men, right? Not being, stereotypical, but men tend to have more issues with faithfulness than women, right? But women have the same issues too. But basically, that's what this is saying, and this is 2 Timothy 2:13, and I named all the Bible verses. That I'm coming from about Him being faithful. It says God is not human that He should lie, not a human being. So that right there speaks volume, because human beings lie. We can all vouch to that. So that segment of the Bible verse makes sense. It's so what it's telling you is He's not human. He's not like us. Human beings lie. And God is something different. Because for Him to be faithful and that He cannot lie is not human, right? So you know how people say God's ways are not our ways, and that He's different, and sometimes we don't understand how He operates. We don't understand Him. He's like the perfect, the Alpha, the Omega, the perfect. And so just that part of that Bible verse is telling you He's not human, that He should lie, not a human being, that He should change His mind. If we are unfaithful, He remains faithful, for He cannot deny Himself. And what that means is in the Bible, I'm sorry, YouTubers, He keeps His word. And in the Bible, this is where this comes from, is the Bible, this Bible verse, which is 2 Timothy 2:13. He doesn't go back on His word. He's the same in the Alpha as He is in the Omega, which is the beginning to the end. He was the same back in the day, and that was like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, and He's the same now. He's the same in the past, present tense, and the future. The Bible is the truth. The Word is the truth, and that's what this is saying. He don't lie. Humans lie, but God is not human, but God don't lie. So that's very powerful saying. I'm so sorry that he's faithful because we know human beings are not faithful. Okay. If you do find a man or a woman that's faithful, hold on to them. Because that's something to have, because that's trust. And we have so many trust issues in relationships. And it doesn't have to just be boy and girl or that type of intimate relationship. It could just be like an intimate relationship as a friendship, or just a relationship as a friendship, a work relationship, a business relationship. A lot of times people are not trustworthy. You can't trust them. The trustfulness of them is just no good. Or it's maybe 50%. Maybe they'll show, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll keep their word, maybe they don't. This is saying God don't get down like that. He's faithful. If he give you his word is his word. He stands on his word. He's faithful. Whatever he said, the promise he gave, he's faithful. Okay. And that's what this is saying. So it says, that God remains faithful. Who he is what that is. It doesn't mean that that's what he does. That's who he is. So think about that for a minute. When we talk about human beings being faithful, we talking about that's what we do. We keeping our word. I can trust him. So that's who he is, right? And that's what this is saying, that God remains faithful and he never fails. But this is who he is. This is the type of God that we know and that we serve and that we worship and that we praise and that we pray to. And we are a part of his family. Okay. And so that's what it's saying, that's who he is. Okay. And he performs. So he's faithful. Also, God is always all the way with us. He is trustworthy and he is perfectly faithful. So think about the way these words are written describing God. Like if somebody wrote a book describing you and people made accounts on you about their experiences with you, what would they say? Would they say he or she is trustworthy? Would they say he or she is perfectly faithful? I mean, have you ever heard that somebody is perfectly faithful? So that's some whole nother level stuff. You get what I'm saying? I never heard nobody say, oh my gosh, like that person is just so amazing. They're perfectly faithful. You're not going to hear nobody say that because human beings are not, right? But God is. He's above human beings. If he's perfectly faithful just off of that characteristic, he's above human beings, right? So, but that's what it says. He's trustworthy, okay? So basically, to sum it up, it means the opposite would be you can't count on God. He's wish-washy. See what I'm saying? How many people that's wish-washy? They one way 1 minute, the next minute, the next minute. He don't change. He don't change. Okay. So the way we learn to trust someone, you learn to trust their character. So we learn to trust the character of a person by getting to know them, right? And so basically, like, you see somebody that you look good, or you meet a friend at school or at work and y'all go hang out, or let's say you see somebody you like, you're attracted to, and y'all date, and you get to know them, getting to know them, right? So we learn to trust character of a person by getting to know them, okay? And that is correct. So basically, if you had a bank account or you had some money, would you just trust that money with somebody you don't even know? A perfect stranger, somebody you don't know that you just met? No, you're not going to take your hard-earned money, and say, here. You see what I'm saying? And trust them with it to give it back to you. No. Now, if you gave it away, then that's a good deed if they need the help. But I'm talking about giving them your money to hold it for you and, okay, meet me back here and give it back. It makes no sense. They're a stranger. You got to get to know somebody to have that trust and build that trust with them. This is how it operates with God. As far as us dealing with him, to get to know him, that's where we build our trust with him. And that's when we learn he's a faithful God. Because if you don't know nothing about God, you're not going to automatically trust him. You see what I'm saying? It's because we get to know God. A lot of us were brought up in the church. We started out that way. But even if you weren't, you still can go to church, right? But you have to get to know God, get to know who he is, get to learn his character. Just like anybody else you deal with, if you're dating, if you meet a new friend, a new business relationship, you get to know the person, see if you like them. And that's where the trust begins and begins to come up and build. And then you feel comfortable. And then you see, I can trust this person or whatever, right? So this is how it works with God. So basically, we learn to trust God by getting to know his character. And this is how this works. So I'm going to give you a few ways that we get to know him or how to get to know him. One way is studying his word. So like the first reference was the Bible. Of course, I'm coming from Bible verses. Because let me tell you something, the Bible verses is evidence. And that's all it is. We're supposed to take his word, which is in the Bible, which is the Bible scriptures. That's our evidence. Then you take the evidence and match it up with what happens. And when it manifests, that's the proof. You see what I'm saying? But the Bible verses is the evidence. So basically, learning to trust God by getting to know his character. One way, and this is a few ways, I'm going to give you. One way is studying his words and studying the Bible. Another way is reviewing his works in other lives, or in our lives, I'm sorry. So through prayer, through manifestations, through things that you know God did, is a way of building trust, right? Getting to know his character. Also, learning to follow his voice. Now, that could be kind of tricky if you're new. You may not know his voice. You may not know what it is, right? There's a certain thing as discerning spirits and listening and Holy Spirit and all that. So, but the first two you can do if you're a novice. If you're a beginner, you can most definitely study his word. They have easy readers now as far as Bibles go because it's written in some other language before our time. And, just imagine if we picked up a book that's written in Japanese. I mean, how many Americans can read that? A lot of Americans take up Spanish or French or Italian or something like that. But if it's in Japanese, I hadn't met that many Americans that know Japanese fluently, right? So if we just picked up a book and it's in Japanese, you're going to be like, what is this thing saying? You're going to have a translator, right? The Bible used to be kind of hard to read like that because it was written in a whole nother language. But now they have Bibles that's written so easy, so plain, in modern today language, where you can read it and it's not like the cuppeth overrunneth 100. And he jumpeth over the, seeth. It's like, nah, it's an everyday term. Like, don't run the water too much or the water's gonna run out the cup. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever the point is. It's taken literally in context. And it's in modern day language where you can relate and understand it and get what it's meaning in today's time. You see what I'm saying? But relate it to what it was saying back then. So it not only puts it in modern day words, but it puts it in the context of modern day language and modern day understanding and content where you can say, oh, context, I get it. It's not confusing. Well, you have easy readers out there. There's so many different Bibles. You just need to look at the different Bibles, open them up, read them, see which one, read a Bible verse, which one you can read and understand, it makes sense. Because literally that's what I did. And I found one, and it was an everyday language, everyday modern language that we speak nowadays. And I was like, wow, I'm buying this one because it says he is trustworthy. The ones like King James Version back in the day, the original, it'll be like, for, like trustworthiness is God, da, 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 I mean, it's not understandable and comprehensible. It used to be to me. It'd be like, what in the world does that mean? Then you got to take it in context of back then at that time, what it meant and what language this is. It ain't like that now. It's very easy to read. And that's what I call easy readers or very easy to comprehend. So there's so many different kinds out there. So really not many excuses to get to learn the word. And that's where you learn his character, where you can learn to trust him. And when you learn to trust him and learn his character, you see that he is faithful. He is faithful to his promises, his word. He's just a faithful God. Okay. So that's one way if you're novice, a beginner. Another way is just reviewing the works in our lives through prayer. You might go to church and hear people give testimonies and you're a witness. You know, people that's prayed, has had goodness happen to them and prayers answered. So that's another way to get to know his character. Because like I said, you got to get to know someone before you can trust them. Who they are, what they do, how they move, what they like, what they about, blah. And this is telling you who God is and how he moves and what he's about and everything. He's trustworthy. He is perfectly faithful. He's faithful. And it says even when we're unfaithful to him, he's still faithful to us. He keeps his word and he keeps his promises. And like I said, the other way is learning to follow his voice. If you're a novice, you may not know how to do that. Okay. I can't give you any insiders on it because I don't really know. I kind of do, but another time, right? Message. Okay. So also coming from another Bible verse, Deuteronomy 8:2, when they all God had done for them, they could trust him for the future. So what it's saying is basically look at what all God has done for you. And that way you can trust him for the future. So that's what people will say, like sometimes dwell on the past. And think about all the things he's already done through prayer or just the goodness he does, providing for us, whatever he's done for you. He's done a lot for everybody. And then you can dwell on that and reference back. It's okay, well, I know he's got this. I know he's going to do it. For future tenses of what you're waiting on or what he's promised you or what the word is for that. So it's basically talking about his promises and his word is good. Okay, so I just wanted to make this video to let people know that God is faithful. He's a faithful God. He's built on faithfulness, built on trust, trustworthy. It's a flip side because he wants us to have our faith in him, right? But he's faithful. He's faithful to us. And the Bible verse says, if we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. That's powerful. How many people you know that, when you're in a relationship, it's got to be 50-50 and all this and that, right? He don't get down like that. Because guess what? A lot of people 50-50, well, if they lie to me, I'm going to lie to them. If they lie to me, I don't trust them. They got to be good to me for me to be good to them. If they treat me bad, I'm out of here. Humans, God says, if we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. So that's who he is. You see what I'm saying? It ain't even got nothing to do with us. It's got to do with who he is. He said he ain't messing him. He ain't denying himself. He cannot deny himself because that's who he is. It will be a lie. So that's just how faithful he is. You see what I'm saying? That's who he is that even when we are unfaithful, see, he don't get down like us. A lot of people don't understand it sometimes. He don't get down like us. Because you know what else it says? God remains faithful. God never fails. So just the stuff I done told you, God remains faithful. When we are unfaithful, he remains faithful. He cannot deny himself. That's a Bible verse. God never fails. He's trustworthy. I'm sorry. What else did I say about God? Perfectly. He's perfectly faithful. He's not human that he should lie. Not a human being. He should not change his mind. Okay. So just think about those things and sum it up to his faithfulness and compare it to a human being. Because that's what the Bible verse says. God is not human. He should lie. not a human being, that he should change his mind. The Bible verse compares him to a human being. And that's why I'm saying it's comparing him to a human being. Do you see why people say his ways are not our ways? And, he's just different than we are. And we have to trust him and he's faithful. And blah, blah. He ain't like us. All them the scriptures I just read. Man fails. Man does not remain faithful. Man lies. Man changes his mind. You see what I'm saying? And man can deny himself. So what I'm saying is that particular Bible verse and these particular words is comparing him to man. Because we put a lot of trust in man and we put a lot of trust in the faithfulness of man. And this is a comparison. This is a Bible verse telling you, honey, you ain't dealing with no man. You're dealing with God. And he's on a whole nother level. And men don't operate like that. So, you know how they say, don't look to man, look to God? This is a perfect example of this Bible verse. Just off of his faithfulness. You see what I'm saying? Because he got it. He got it way better than who you dealing with on earth. You see what I'm saying? Or a man, or woman. It ain't the same thing. So, just wanted to let you know what's up and how God gets down and the trueness of him and the trueness of his faithfulness. He's a faithful God. You can trust him. If he gave you his promise and his word, believe that. It's real. It's as real as it gets. And that's the whole point of this. So hopefully I made sense and I gave you the Bible verses. That was just the point of this message here today. So I like to hear comments and suggestions. I know I'm sitting here chilling and wrapped up in a blanket and everything. I had bronchitis. Trying to get over it. But I wanted to put out a word of God and let people know, because there's so many people that don't know. And they don't know because they don't know, because it don't make sense to not know. What I'm saying is he's so good. The world is so bad. You need to know. And you need to get to know him, and you need to know him. You see what I'm saying? That's why I make these videos and take out the time, even though I'm wrapped up in a blanket. I be coming on here looking a hot mess, but it's not about that. And it is about that, because I need to represent myself in a professional way. So I'm starting out, okay? I got bronchitis, but I'm like, you know what, while I'm sitting here, and I should have fixed up. But the point is the message here, that God is faithful. And that's what we need to be focused on. Not the petty stuff. But that's what this is all about, is just trying to reach people that don't know and giving you the word. Because I was out there, I didn't see no point. I didn't see no point in getting to know God and getting to know the word. And you see a lot of people that don't see the point, but you see a lot of people that do. And if you just knew how good this God is that we serve, that we believe in, and that we trust and worship and go to church for, and as Christians, I mean, it's just, he's amazing. I mean, he really is. And let me tell you something. There's a generation that's older than all of us and older than us. You know, back in the day, how your granny and your great granny, they went to church. They were brought up in the church, right? They knew something. They understood something that we didn't. The faithfulness of God and the trueness of God. And anybody that has that kind of knowledge is smart. You got to get smart out here. Because if you don't have God in your life, you really ain't got nothing. You're missing out. Because a lot of people be afraid to get with this. But this is what saves you. This is what watches over you and protects you. It's him. The world is unpredictable, but he's not. He's not the type of God that fails. He's a faithful God. He's a helper. He's a healer. Why would you not want to get to know him? So some people shy away because they be like, well, I'm out here in the world. Well, be in the world. Start by praying. Start by taking up time with him every day. Start by building a relationship with him. After a while, you're going to have to go to God and change anyway. You see when everybody get old, they get into God, right? But if you look at the older people like your great granny and all them, I mean, dang, they knew something we didn't know. They understood the importance of having God in their life. And they did all kinds of stuff. They did all kinds of stuff back then. But they still understood the importance of having God in their work in their world and in their life. That's why they did it that way. Even back in slavery times, when all that mess was going on, them people still had God in their life and they knew the importance of religion and having God in their life and reading the Bible and praising and worshiping and going out. And they understood that it was very necessary for everyday life to be a part of their life. So I say this to say you got all kind of people into all kinds of things, man. Like I'm in Atlanta, I be seeing people shooting music videos all the time and just doing all types of stuff. And I be looking at them like, man, I bet you they ain't took 10 minutes today to pray to God and have a relationship with Him or give Him praise or worship Him. A lot of them probably don't even go to church. They caught up in rapping and honey, rap, do what you do. Just give God some of your time. I mean, you got to change it sometime. And whether you change or not, He's a faithful God. The verse here says, if we are unfaithful, He remains faithful, for He cannot deny Himself. So, what are you waiting for? Even if you make any rap videos, stuff, still call on the Lord, talk to Him, have a relationship, pray, praise Him, worship Him, whatever you do. It'll take you 10 or 15 minutes of your day. And remember to always get the word, you know what I'm saying? Like, the word is the evidence. That's how you know. Anytime somebody gives you something, they're going to back it up with the evidence to make it true. Whatever story they tell you, they're going to back it up with the evidence to make it true. And you got to go by the evidence. That's why the word is so important. It is designed to be the evidence that we go by. And that's how we know when somebody telling the truth and when they're not telling the truth, when somebody representing God and when they're not, is the evidence. See what I'm saying? That's why I gave you those Bible verses. And you can go look them up for yourself. You can Google them in your phone yourself and read about them and find out what they mean. And that's how you learn and feed yourself the word. Feed yourself the word and learn through watching my videos and videos like mine, getting the Bible verses, looking them up, reading them, praying, asking for understanding, it's all kinds of ways, but you just want to get to know God and get close with God and get close relationship. He provides protection and help. It's not just about that, it's about just being cool with him and being down with him, being part of his family on earth. I mean, you want to live and be alive, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm out. I just want to make this video. And if anyone likes my video, please give me a like, comment, thumbs up, like, comment. Any suggestions, questions, comments, please post them and I will respond back. So I guess that's all I gotta say. I mean, it's like 3 days before Christmas, 2018. So a lot of people getting ready for that. And hey, let me say something about that real quick. About Christmas, we come together. The reason for the season is Jesus, right? Don't forget that, because we all come together. And Santa Claus, I mean, he ain't even real. You see what I'm saying? But the reason we exchanging gifts and having all these dinners and stuff is Jesus. It's weird because we celebrate it for his birthday. But then like Easter is known that they had a dinner and all this and that or whatever happened to Easter, right? That's the Good Friday and the resurrection. But what I'm saying is Christmas is like people know it's about God, but then you got this Santa Claus. That ain't really what it's about. When you decorate your house with lights and put up that tree and you eating and buying presents and exchange them, it's about the reason for the season, which is Jesus. And don't never forget that. So I'm just putting it out there. A lot of people be like, I teach my kids, I buy their presents. Some people don't even buy into the whole Santa Claus thing, but I know it's just there to make it fun, but you can make it fun about G. But I'm saying regardless of what you do, Just like if you make rap videos, you can still put Jesus in it in your day every day. You see what I'm saying? Include him. And that's just like with Christmas. Even though we got to do this whole Santa Claus thing for children, whatever, we buy these presents and eat. And just remember to put Jesus in it. So I'm saying he's the whole reason we doing it anyway. And that's just like every day when you praying, just put Jesus in it. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be my saying now. Just put Jesus in it. For real, for real. Just put Jesus in it. In everything you do, just put Jesus in it. Alright. That's 100, baby. I love y'all. Y'all my YouTubers. I know I'm on here looking like I look, baby, but I had to reach you. I had to teach you. Reach one, teach one, or teach one, reach one, or whatever they say. All right. Peace out.